Hey guys, my name is Zaid Halatis and this is Baller. This is a project I've been working on for the last months, and I can honestly say to you that I really believe this is gonna change everything about SpongeBob magic. This idea will change the way you perform with them, you play with them. It's gonna make you happier when you perform for other people. It's so easy to do, so practical and so visual, you're gonna love it. Let's get on with the gimmick. So it's essentially like you've already seen probably, because if you're like me, you've already opened the gimmick, found out yourself and then played the video, but that's okay, I don't judge. So the gimmick is essentially just a flipper SpongeBob. How the way that this works is because we have two magnets here and two magnets here, so when this closes it's perfectly aligned and you can sew it around. It works like a charm. You can see there's no lines or whatever. And the way this closes, it's because of the tension, the SpongeBob tension. And you can see that you can do this, and it's visual as I can say the word, but you love it. So this is what the gimmick is, and essentially we could just give you this and say just play with it, but we're better than this. We're gonna give you full routines to practice, get to love these things, and if you don't like the routines, that stick it in your own, performance style, but we're just gonna give you the material, stick to the material, play with it, do whatever you want, just go out and have fun with this. I promise you're gonna love it. This is Baller. So, if this is the first time you're actually playing with this and you have never seen this before, which is and the other ball here. You display it, and when you're ready to open your gimmick, you just place this in thumb clip. You do this while you turn your hand, supposedly placing it so, but you're holding here. While you do this, you open the gimmick like this. This would cover it. I'm gonna change sides and show you exactly how it works from this side. Okay, so you've just placed this normal SpongeBob thumb clip. Your thumb and middle finger will grab the SpongeBob and open it like this, then push it down so it's square with your hand, and then display. I'm gonna do it once again slowly and then in normal speed. Thumb clip, pins, open, display. So if the spectators are in front of you, this is exactly what they see. Okay guys, even though that the way that this gimmick closes it's pretty self-explanatory, I'm gonna show you some subtleties that they're gonna help you. So you have opened the gimmick either in your right or your left hand. The best way to close it is with the least finger movement possible. If you open your fingers too much, it seems like you're doing something, you know? The thing you want to do is like open them a little bit so it just gets some space for the sponge ball to close actually. So as you wave in your hand, the movement will cause this to close by itself, and it's better if you don't move your fingers because it's minimal. Now there are other ways to close. It's like this is one way as you're shaking it. There is the other way where you throw it. There is another way where you throw it up in the air. Sorry if I got out of frame. So as you can tell, there are many ways, but the thing is that, well, to be honest, I use this way more than anything else because it's the most visual to me. But you can use any of these ways throughout all the performances, and keep in mind that the most minimal your movements are in your fingers, the more magical it is. Okay guys, so this routine is called the hands, and it's very easy. I'm just gonna walk you right through it. You need two normal regular sponge balls, twins, and your bowler gimmick, and you also need another sponge ball which you need to have at a place where you're gonna be able to steal it. I usually keep it right here, end of my shirt. You can have it in your pocket or wherever it suits you. You start with the three sponge balls at your hand. The gimmick is the upper far away from you, then it's the normal and another normal. Again, make sure that the gimmick is at the position where you can open it from here, with the seam facing your fingers. So you start like this. You ask your spectators to point at one of the sponge balls. If they point one of the normal ones, you just leave this on, sorry. You start with the three sponge balls.
Place it there as well.
Yeah, sorry. So you start with the three sponge balls on your hand. Remember, the gimmick needs to be seamed down so it can be opened later on. You ask your spectator to point at one randomly. If they point at one of the normal ones, you just let them hold it, and then you do the opening of the sponge ball. If they select the sponge ball, then you say, well, select another one, and let's say they say this one, and say, okay, this is the two we're gonna use, hold on to this one. Essentially, you just always end with the gimmick and normal sponge ball here. No matter what, after you display the two sponge balls, take one, the gimmick, leave it where it needs to be, take the other one, and open the gimmick. Now you ask the spectator to open a hand and say you're gonna give them a sponge ball. Ask them to hold it very tightly so they won't feel it's actually two. And then you ask them to imagine that you're gonna throw while you throw the two sponge balls, one of them will appear in the hand. All you need to do is to throw the gimmick and it will close by itself. Like we showed you, close by itself, it's pretty self-working, but the way I like to do it is to throw it either above or under the hand so it's very visual. It really looks like one ball got caught right here. Open your hand. So they have two. So your spectators just opened their hand and found out they have two sponge balls. Now all you need to do while they're reacting is steal the one you have on your side or in your pocket, whatever suits you. Now you're gonna take these two balls and ask them to hold them very tightly while loading your third ball secretly. And all you need to do is a vanish like we taught you before. You can get the thumb clip like I do. Snap your fingers. No, don't open yet. And pretend that you're throwing the ball to them. Let's do it one more time. So they have two sponge balls here. You've just stolen the extra one. You say, hold these two and secretly add the third one. Thumb clip, pretend to place it here, throw it inside, open your hand. And there's 3. I'm gonna use these 2 guys to get them through the window. I know it sounds silly, but it really happens. All you need to do is take them from the other side of the glass, throw the on, pass it through, open your hand. Now this is the only one left. Go here, bring his body along, and here he goes. So this is a routine that me and my buddy the Sparrow came up with, so thank you very much for helping me with this. It's a very cool routine, it's very visual, and all you need is one ball or gimmick, and obviously a red sponge ball. So you start by saying you'll throw the sponge balls through the glass. They obviously don't believe you. All you need to do is the opening move that we showed you. Take the 2 balls, display gimmick on the left hand, normal sponge ball on the right hand. Well, you do the thumb clip, open the gimmick just like all the other routines, and it's perfect cover for this sponge ball because as soon as you do the opening of the gimmick, you just go and tap on the glass, so this has a real reason to be closed. You do this. Now this move is pretty hard to do, but if you practice you'll get it right. You need to throw the sponge ball so it closes against the window. As soon as it closes, you're gonna release the sponge ball, hit it exactly where the other ball hit, and then catch it in the air. I know it sounds pretty impossible, but it's actually very easy. It looks like this, right? It's very easy to do after you practice a few times. Let's throw it. And I know from your perspective it will sound silly because you see that you throw the ball, but trust me, with the cover of your hand, it literally seems like the ball just got through. So one more time. So the balls here, the gimmick, tap the glass, and grab it. Don't let it fall. Okay, from here you're just going to hold it in your hand. This beautiful hand is precious, and you leave them the regular sponge ball. From here all you need to do is false transfer the gimmick to the other hand. I've used the thumb clip like I used in all the other explanations. Come here and knock again, and hiding the gimmick with your hand, you're gonna take the normal ball, and as you tap you're gonna display where the other ball is gonna show up. See where the seam is, so if you're holding it like this you won't try to open it from another side, etc. So if you spot the seam right here, then have it where it needs to be, facing down in your hand, so you can open the gimmick. Okay, so first you take the gimmick, place it the way it needs to be opened, take the other sponge ball, hide it well. You open your gimmick and then take the other normal sponge ball and stick it here in the end. You can sew the 3 normal sponge balls. Try not to flash and don't show your hand, Keep your moves small and casual. When you're ready, all you need to do is wave this hand and let this gimmick close, and at the same time open this hand and wiggle the sponge ball. If you do it correctly, it should look like one sponge ball jump from one hand to another. Now I know this is a bit hard to do because you're holding another sponge ball, but try to keep that with your pinky, and these 4 fingers are gonna control the movement, which is like this. So if you do it correctly, it should look pretty amazing, like this. Okay? say that this sponge ball is gonna be by this one. Take the normal out of your hand and point at this. This could be your spectator's hand if you're working at street magic or whatever. So you say this one will join this, and as you turn back to place it, you again hide it and open your gimmick. Take the one from your spectators, and then as you rotate your hand, make sure that outward sponge ball covers the one on the bottom. You don't need to have your hand really open because you'll flash the other sponge ball. You just need to have it like this, and when you start shaking your hands, this gimmick will close. It's like the same vines we showed you, and then this to appear. If you do this at the right speed and with the right momentum, it looks pretty amazing. Now for the last part, you ask for your spectator's hands while you steal your ungimmicked sponge ball, and then you pretend to place 2 in your spectator's hands while you actually place 3. If you ever done sponge ball before, this is a very classic move, but I'm gonna walk you through right through it. You have this in finger palm. Take the 2 sponge balls and then you squeeze them all into their hand. Ask them to squeeze very tightly so they won't open up or they won't feel that they actually have 3. And then you need to do a vanish with a gimmick. Now I usually do many vanishes, but well, you can do the one that works best for you. For now I'm gonna show you this one. I don't know how this vanish is called. We're just gonna call it here thumb.
Thumb clip. Yeah.
Okay, so this vanish that I just did is essentially a thumb clip. What you do is just clip the sponge ball between your thumb and index finger and pretend, place it in your hand, point at the hand which the sponge ball will end up, snap your fingers, so it's gone. By the time they're reacting, you have all the time you need to get rid of this gimmick, and you end up with 3 normal sponge balls. Do you know what this is?
No clue.
This is actually not a clown nose, it's actually a stress ball. You know that it has a panic button for when you're really stressed?
Yeah?
Yeah, just try it here. Do you feel it?
No.
It actually has one. If you press it, another one comes out. Open your hand. Okay, I want you to pick one. Which one do you like better? This one? Okay, I'll take the other one, and I want you to hold onto your one very, very tight. Okay. Now, what I'm gonna do is, I want you to imagine that I'm gonna take your ball and throw it into my own hand.
Okay.
Does that sound possible?
No.
It is. I'm gonna snap my fingers in 1, 2, 3. Did you feel the ball in your hand?
No.
So, you're still holding on to it?
Yeah.
So I must have done something wrong.
What?
On your hands.
Yeah.
The setup for this is very easy. All you need is your normal sponge ball crumbled up and in finger palm, and you display the other sponge ball holding it with your thumb and index finger. You ask them if they've seen it before, if they know what it is. In my presentation I say it's a stress ball. You can use any presentation you want. I say there's a button in the middle of it, and I ask them if they feel it.
No.
It's a very clean display of your hand on the sponge ball. From here, all you need to do when you need to split the ball is actually bring the crumbled up sponge ball behind the open one so you can display it, and whenever you want to split it, just grab it and take it away. When done in real time, it looks very full from the front. What you do then is you ask them to open their hands, ask them to pick one, doesn't matter which one they pick. Whichever one they leave for you, you're gonna take and vanish in your hand. I personally use this vanish, which is actually a retention vanish. You place the sponge ball in your hand, close up your fingers, and as soon as you close up your fingers, your thumb and index finger are gonna drag out the sponge ball and place it back into finger pad where you point with your other hand. When done quickly, it looks really fully. If you're not very familiar with this move and you want something easier, you can just do a thumb clip like we did in the other routines. So you've taken the ball, folds placed in your hand, and then you ask them to take the ball they're already holding, and the reason you're doing this is you ask them that you want them to hold it really, really tight now. Hold it really, really tight. The reason you're doing this is because if they're holding really tight, they can't tell that they're actually 2 sponge balls. When they do this, my presentation is that I'm telling that I'm gonna take the sponge ball and throw it invisibly into my own hand. That's just my style of performance. You can do it however you like, but I just like presenting this as a mistake. From now on, you really need to do nothing more. Snap your fingers, do whatever you want, just display that SpongeBob is no longer here and doesn't open the hands, and there you go. From here, go straight to the 10 count, which is a very fun move to perform. I actually tell them that I'm going to teach them, which I obviously don't, but they get really into it because they think they're gonna learn the secret. From here, what you do is essentially only one slide, the retention vanish, or the thumb clip vanish, but the presentation is that you're explaining the move, so you go, I'm gonna count so you can understand what's going on, and you go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, on 6 you do the retention vanish and then point, or the thumb clip vanish, so 6, 7 you take the other ball and load it in your hand, 8, 9 and you open display, right? I got lost in the count. Let me do it. It's very hard to do it like in slow motion, so in real time it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, it's very easy, just one slide you need to practice and get great reactions, and I hope you enjoy this. Okay, so if you've worked with SpongeBobs before, you know that you have to wash them because they get dirty day after day, night after night with spectator stands in them. They get dirty and they're all squeezy, and there's always gonna be this one girl spectator who's gonna see them and immediately go nuts about them, just crowd and go, oh my god, it's so fluffy, and it's just, you're like, no, it's like, what? You're like, fuck, just do whatever you want. So they have to be clean. How do you wash them? You need a glass of water, perfectly. Dip your fingers in, sorry guys. And then you have to really just work the edge of the SpongeBob. I know it sounds silly, but you don't want to get this wet. Just get the outer parts. You can get the seam part, but not inside. It's gonna get fluffy, it's gonna get perfect. Lloyd is throwing SpongeBobs at me. But seriously, this is very important. He got it actually in. It's amazing. In all seriousness though, you have to do this like every 1 week, because otherwise the SpongeBob will lose its tension. I'm gonna grab one of the SpongeBobs with my mouth. Now, I failed. Remember, wash your balls, guys. It's really important. Okay, the guys were being silly. We had some fun. We just get dressed again. But in all seriousness, we totally have to wash your SpongeBobs. Seriously though, once in every week. It has to be done, so it will build up the tension again, and then it will close back up perfectly. Needless to say, you can't perform the same night. I mean, it's like dripping, you don't want that. You can use your sister's hair dryer or your mother's whatever, or you can just leave it out to dry for a day. They have to be completely dry for you to perform. I think it's pretty obvious, right? Is this too much?
Yeah.
It is? Yeah, okay. So guys, thank you so much for purchasing Baller. I hope you enjoy this as much as I do. I think it's one of those things that you don't realize how much you're gonna love. Lloyd why is he doing this? Do I have some tiger on me? Anyway, I really hope you love this effect. I want you to go out and perform this effect as much as you can. Do it for everyone you know. Email me about your progress. I want to see what you did with it. Do the best you can, please. I mean, this effect will blow people away, will blow magicians away, will blow your parents who know how magic works by now away. Go out, have fun. This was Baller.